You already know. Period.
Oh my God, y'all. All right, welcome back to Commission Reviews. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Welcome back to Commission Reviews. Because I have like my notes I'm trying to pull up that I have here so I can talk about this. Wait a minute, what am I doing? Hold on now. My Apple. There we go. And I'm not even gonna redo this because I don't feel like hitting record over again. Let's talk about this episode that just came on. So Justin just went home. Alyssa Edwards. Okay. And of course, CJ's upset because literally that's all she was rooting for the entire time. And nothing's wrong with that. That was her only ace. Of course, Jill and Davon are like this. Okay, that's Devon's game to me. It's the game she's always played. It makes me wonder what went wrong in the Big Brother house. So her and Jill, Jill's like, look, at the end of the day, I don't want to be the head one in charge. I want to be the second in command because the president always, is in trouble. So Davon and Jill are talking like we have this bond, and I love you how you are as a mother. And we're gonna chill outside of this or whatever. Then of course they are gonna talk game. That's what they do. And I feel like some people in the house don't understand that this is a game and that there is going to be scheming involved. So the guys do get together and talk like what in the world happened. Like two of our guys in our alliance, went home. Of course, Ressa is, talking about I need to watch my back. Two of my guys did go home, and my alliance is not looking good. Of course, Jason is cooking, as he said on my show here. He said that is how he made sure he stayed in the house. I should have my notes up here, but I'll be looking down, so I apologize. So of course, Joe had one vote, which was Wendell. And Wendell straight up said, hey, I did vote for you, Joe. It is what it is. And of course, Joe's gonna talk with like anybody would talk and say, there was only one vote in the house, and it was you. So pretty much you know what it's gonna be. It's every time, it's on site. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we're talking about because the fact it was the double elimination, what's coming up. But it is GOAT Challenge Day. And this is in Davon's voice. I love it when they play the sound. I couldn't get it exactly the way they have a sound, but I just like when every time someone says something, they play the GOAT sound. So anyway, I don't know. We're down to the final. Not final, but I think we only have 4 episodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, with 8 people still in the house. Not double elimination, but there will be some kind of twist or whatever. The way Tosh. Let me talk about how Tosh as a host, how much makes me laugh. He is his sarcasm. His sarcasm is very, very funny. Okay. He just makes me laugh. Like even when he starts to make funny and saying, like, it's gonna be this, something's gonna happen, it's gonna be different, and da 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 da. So Wendell's like saying, the Davon is like the leader of the pack. The leader of the pack. And she is, and that she's running the house, and he's got to do what he got to do. Of course, they got to get ready to go outside. Now, there really are, to me, it does give me Big Brother, like the challenges. You go outside, they have these big green wooden poles. They got 3 green balloons full of something gross. Okay. They all come out. Let me tell you something. When they came out in their uniforms, you have to wear your little clothes or whatever. I had exactly what Jill had on because they all had my like the short, tight black shorts, tank top. But Jill came out with that too, but she had on like her black jacket to match. Boom. Okay. So when it came down to it, this this is what they're trying to. I'm sorry, I can't talk. This is to get off to the GOAT, to become the GOAT. Now all the balloons are filled with goat meal. I don't really goat meal. I don't know who comes up with these challenges, but I will have to admit people on this show are very creative. So they have these letters like the scramble board, right? And they'll be scrambled. And so they have to, whatever the words are, they have to unscramble them, write it on a board, and then, like, turn the board around and say, this is my word, but the word has to be spelled correctly. If it's spelled correctly, your balloon doesn't get popped, right? Um, you can choose to pop somebody's balloon. Anyway, I believe the balloons get popped. Um, it's gross. Listen to balloon. It just looks nasty. I hate oatmeal. Okay, so I think that they have the first word to go up there. When I look at it, I ain't gonna lie. I'm looking at the word. I remember I looked at it. I was like, "What? What is that?" So Davon is very, very smart. So she knows for sure everybody wants me out this house. I have to win everything or make sure the person that I'm aligned with. And also, she made a good point by saying that everybody in this game is pretty much going to point out their target. The first word was alliance, and I think everybody got it correct. Um, I don't know if I think Window got it wrong, CJ got it wrong, and Riz got it wrong. Jill and Davon was killing it in this challenge. Okay, so it came down to it, because everybody being kind of nasty. Not really nasty, but shoot, mostly everybody. The first thing, the girls got out of Reza so fast, and then at the end, it ended up being, I think it was CJ, Jill. Was it Davon? I don't remember, but I just know that Paola was there. It ended up being they got rid of CJ, because you have, and then Davon ended up getting out. They didn't want her to win the GOAT. But I was like saying to myself, to me, it's like, if she wins, it doesn't matter if she gets out or not. So Davon ended up getting out anyway. So it ended up being Jill, Jill, and CJ. And CJ got ended up being chosen, and she ended up getting out, which who was not surprised by that. Jill ended up winning the GOAT, which I was really happy about. I'm not gonna lie. I'm loving the girls, how Davon and her, especially in the beginning, how they made a decision to be in alliance. And in the beginning, it seemed like they, not I'm gonna say they were struggling because the guys were picking them off one by one, but Davon and Jill seemed to still be, we're in this alliance, we're still working together, we're still winning, you know. Um, Joe, so they all have this pool party, right? And this is the thing I trip out on. They have a pool party, and Riz was like, "Oh my god, we have a pool party!" And here go Jill and Davon going upstairs to talk scheming. This is a championship. This is a game. You're playing a game to win. If you're playing a baseball game, a basketball game, or any kind of game at all, do you think that you want to lose, or would you play to win? Don't give me the, oh, we're having fun, or I hope everybody's winners. That's the new thing. In the core, you want to win when you're playing the game, doing a challenge, a competition. You want to win. That is the objective at the end of the day. I don't care if you're my friend outside of this. I don't care if we're besties. It's very confusing. And then you got CJ. Oh my god, everybody's like breaking off, and everyone is talking game. They're supposed to do that, mama. I just don't think people realize that when I saw this in traders. I just don't think people realize when they are watching this. So the one thing I like what Davon said, let's kind of split it, the team. So there's targets on both sides. That was very smart. Jill did make sure that her team was stacked when it came down to the immunity challenge. Even though Rizza didn't think it was and in Rizza's opinion, I get, he can say that, and I get why he said it, But this one is about, you had Taj, of course, coming out in the Jersey Shore situation. Cabs here. That was this whole theme was reality TV show, people living in the same house. So with that being said, Window, Davon, was it Jason? And I think Jill was on one team. And they're all on this four square. And they gotta all go walk, and they all have strings tied together. And they have to walk on the beam, not fall off, and they put their piece to eventually build this house. If you fall off, you have to go get your piece and go back with the string and start over. Everything's held together. The board that the house sits on, with everybody in that little the team holding the string, holding it up on this platform. It's very intense to watch. And very look like it's a very, to be honest, it looks like it could be a very intense game. To be honest, Joe was struggling. I don't know if they told him to wear those shoes. He had these shoes. He said he's a size 13. I don't know. The shoe looked like a size 15. So his shoe, here's the board. Here's Joe's shoe. So he's my hand, I need lotion on it. He's walking back and forth on this board and falling off. Now, Davon's team was going slow. Team was going super fast. And at first I was like, oh wow, because they were going so fast. The orange team was quickly, their house was getting built. And I was like, well, and I know how challenges go. Just because in the beginning it looks like they're winning doesn't mean they're going to complete that they're going to necessarily win. But when I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna win. They're gonna win this. So the whole thing Windows said, if we stay locked in, if we stay focused, we can win. Now everybody's problem at the end that I noticed, because they're all holding up with the string. This I didn't realize it, because the platform is this size, and the house is about, it's like two sets. These sets of wood here is about this long, and then you have this side, so it's going to end up going to a house, like this. But this little circle is holding all these pieces up as they stack it on it. I'm seeing it wobble a little bit, and they both have that problem at the end. And then all of a sudden, Jason puts a piece on top of their house. The whole thing falls off. They have to start all back over again. And I'm looking at them like, I ain't gonna lie, they're not gonna make it, because they had to start over. And with the orange team, shoot, their house was almost done. This guy gave me a big brother, and I'm like, okay. Then as soon as CJ walks over to put her piece on, she knocks it all over. And to me, they've made it the game very difficult for both sides to do it. But it's still, and they probably played it. Somebody probably played it and practiced to see, can we actually do this? That it actually can be done, that somebody can actually win it, right? So there we go. Because my hands were super on the looking crazy side. How's that? Is that better? Yes, very much better. So anyway, the orange once again has the house all the way up. Purple's right there because it kind of like the purple fell, but the orange is right there. So then the orange puts almost their last piece up. The purple is in the same exact spot. But the problem is Joe has one of the last pieces, and he has his big old shoe, and he's trying hard. Purple puts their last piece on top, but you have to hold it for 8 seconds. No, Davon does, I'm sorry. And you have to, she has to go back, and you have to hold it for 8 seconds. 8 seconds. Right? So as they're holding it up, and they holding it for 8 seconds, the timer starts then, but then here comes the orange. No, I'm sorry. Window had the last piece, and it was about to fall. Window's hand was like this. I was like, oh my God. Then as the orange is going to go put their piece on, CJ is, because then the purple starts a timer. We got 3 seconds, 4, and then the orange falls. The purple's at 5, 6, 7, 8. They win and let it go. So none of them on that team will be, you got Wendell, Jason, Davon, and Jill are safe. Okay. So Riz is freaking out, as he should be. He's like, oh my God. Uh Joe doesn't know what's gonna happen to him as well. So we'll go ahead and get to this part. RZA decides to, as they're getting ready for the elimination ceremony or whatever you want to call it. The ladies are getting ready, makeup and all that kind of stuff. RZA comes downstairs to go talk to Jill, and I don't know what he thought was going to happen, because even when Wendell went to Davon, Davon is like, the names I'm hearing is Reza and Joe. He was like, I got you on Joe. It's only because Wendell wants Joe to go as well. That's his choice. But then it comes down to Reza. He's like, no, it's my boy. Wendell, you gotta be realistic. If you try to stay in the house, you gotta play on the right team. Right now, you're not winning. I know you want to keep Reza on your side, but why should Davon trust you after what you've done already? Let's be clear. You have not shown that you're trustworthy when it comes to her, and vice versa. Davon doesn't trust you as well. So. So then, like I said, Reza goes down to Davon's getting her hair done. Jill is the girl Lion's secret lair, aka hair and makeup. And they like, what in the world is Reza doing down here? What's going on? Jill's saying, first of all, you haven't approached me since the very first day in the house. When we was like, oh, I think Bravo or whatever. The first day. That's a telling to me that you haven't spoken game to me since I've been in this house. And RZA looking at it like, well, it's just understood. It's just understood. Interesting, right? RZA's like, I feel like that you and I have this connection and just assumed that you were protecting me. Jill gave a really good answer where she said, I didn't really know, we hadn't talked, da da da. So I was being protected and was working with people who was working with me. And that person wasn't you, honey. Day one. So as everybody's voting, I'm thinking to myself, because because when you put the little message in the goat, it does like make a did I play? This show is hilarious. Okay. So I'm just gonna get to the part where one thing that RZA said that he didn't like the way it was. She thought that she was making it, the other team would have a better opportunity to win. Okay. And she just kept saying she was disappointed in RZA how he was acting, because he was really kind of coming for her, and Jill was making a lot of points like, just because we were cool, you didn't come with me, you went with the boys instead, and you've been protected the whole time. So Davon was like, there's a difference between person and a player, and RZA is mixing the two when it comes to Jill. I thought RZA was very, 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 I don't know. Just like what Martin said, that man, Martin, you are an angry man. You are an angry, angry man. He said, please vote Jill out this mother house, and threw the two fingers up. And she said, if it was in reverse, would you vote me out? I don't think that people who are watching this is looking at the big picture about it being a game. They're looking at it as relationships that they have outside the house. Like, you, my friend, this is not Facebook. This is a championship. Now look, he threw his goat on the floor and didn't even melt his goat. So I don't know if this is something they have to do, because Tosh should go behind him. And then Joe says he did exactly what Kristen did. Everything that happened to her when they got into it, he did the same exact thing. And of course, Wendell didn't say anything. He just said he was my number one. And he's like the walls are closing in, which they are. I think we have 4 episodes left in this. Reza ended up getting his goat and melting it because Tosh came outside and was like, "You got to melt this before you go." All right, y'all. That's what I got for y'all for the recap of the latest episode of The GOAT. Stay tuned to see, who you may see from The GOAT on Commission Reviews. Make sure you guys also follow me on Apple Podcasts, Google, and Spotify. Yes, don't forget Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. With that being said, I will talk to y'all next time. Y'all know what to do, and y'all know. Oops, I can't ever find this crap. I swear. And y'all know what to do. I'm just gonna leave it at this.